If you are hearing these words, know this. It is not by chance, but a response, a resonance. Your soul, like a compass, has keenly reacted to this call, sensing something important. Before we step behind the veil of mystery into the very heart of it all, you must make your choice. Your like is not mere approval. It is a sincere declaration of your intent, a sign that you are ready to embrace the truth. Your subscription is your entry into the ranks of those who tirelessly seek, who are not content with superficial answers. The truth that they skillfully conceal behind a colorful screen of endless news is, in fact, simple, but no less terrible for it. This is not some mythical conspiracy theory, but a real, tangible plot against your consciousness, against your ability to think freely. We are obligingly persuaded that the world is only what we are accustomed to seeing, that our eyes and ears are the only reliable guides to reality. But what if everything we are accustomed to seeing is merely a distorted, hazy reflection of the true picture? What if the very fabric of reality, dense and tangible, in which we aimlessly exist, is nothing more than a skillfully woven illusion, created from the finest threads of our own perception, perhaps even programmed by someone from the outside? Edgar Cayce, a man whose remarkable prophecies and predictions astound with their incredible accuracy, frequently spoke of the Akashic Records. He described them as a universal, boundless library, a chronicle of all that ever was, is, and inevitably will be. This is not merely cold information, but a living, pulsating energy, holding the very essence of every minuscule atom, every thought conceived, every emotion experienced. Many are prone to dismiss such ideas as pure mysticism, the product of fantasy. But what if this is not just an abstract concept, but precisely that coveted key? A key capable of opening the gates to true understanding of who we truly are and the genuine hidden nature of this world. Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet, asserted that access to these records is possible not only for a select few prophets or refined mystics. He stated that each of us, here and now, carries within a tiny yet precious spark capable of unlocking this access. But this spark requires fanning to ignite into a bright flame, and this process begins with deep, true understanding. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of a colossal library, its endless shelves vanishing into an unknown distance. Each book here represents a unique life experience, each word a subtle yet potent vibration. Within this all-encompassing library, time does not exist, nor does space in our usual, limited understanding. Here, only pure, absolute knowledge reigns, accessible to all. So how does one enter this boundless realm of wisdom? Cayce didn't propose the usual ritualistic actions. He envisioned a different path, a path of inner transformation, a path of spiritual metamorphosis, a path that begins with purification, with freeing the mind from all that is superficial and unnecessary. The first and most crucial step is achieving true awareness, an awareness that the world we are accustomed to, the world of tangible objects, familiar social connections, and intricate political schemes, is merely the thinnest, most superficial layer, like a light, barely perceptible film gliding across the surface of bottomless water. And beneath it, in the depths, lies an immeasurable abyss. Cayce, the sage whose words pierced the veil of the ordinary, said that the overwhelming majority of us dwell precisely on this surface, suffocating in the stifling haze of illusions. We are tightly bound to our fragile bodies, to fleeting thoughts, to raging emotions, sincerely believing that this is the entirety of existence, the only true reality. But in reality, all of this is merely transient masks, concealing the true face. His teachings, like an ancient forgotten text, carefully deciphered and revealed to our generation, carry a profound truth. We are not the body, nor the mind, subject to doubts and fears. We are the soul, an eternal, indestructible essence, temporarily embodied in this fleeting vessel, and the human soul also has access to this boundless, universal library of knowledge. But how then do we awaken this inner wisdom? Edgar Cayce identified 3 core pillars leading to this awakening: sincere prayer, deep meditation, and thoughtful self-reflection. These are not the superficial exercises often mistaken for true practices in our modern times. His prayer is not a humbled plea for anything. It is, first and foremost, an act of profound union, an acknowledgement and recognition of one's own divine nature. It is a true dialogue with the source of all existence, where the master-servant dynamic has no place, but rather an understanding that we are integral parts of a single whole. It is the establishment of a direct, unbreakable connection. Meditation, according to Cayce, is more than mere relaxation of body and mind. It is an active immersion, a step towards oneself. It is the relinquishing of external noise, of the endless stream of thoughts that usually sweeps us away uncontrollably into the hustle of daily life. It is a thoughtful process of refining consciousness, gradually purifying it until it unfolds, becoming capable of sensing and perceiving the subtler, weightless vibrations of the world. He particularly emphasized that visualization was a key element of this process. It's not enough to just fleetingly imagine something. One must deeply, with every fiber of their being, feel the desired outcome. See it clearly, hear the sounds, feel the touch, absorb the atmosphere. Self-reflection, perhaps the most painful, yet no less important step on this path. It is an honest, at times brutal, but necessary look into the deepest corners of one's own soul, into its hidden recesses. Cayce said that our karma, echoes of our past lives, our deepest fears, and our most cherished desires, all of it is carefully preserved within the chronicles. And to gain access to this invaluable knowledge, to these answers, we must thoroughly cleanse our inner world, freeing it from all that is superficial and obstructive. We must forgive ourselves, forgive others, and release the attachments that hold us captive to this illusion. He spoke of rest periods as a time when the soul prepares for a new incarnation. And it is during these periods, according to his assertions, that information from the chronicles can become available to us in the form of dreams, subtle, intuitive insights, like whispers from other worlds. But he maintained that an active, conscious connection to the Akashic Records was possible even here, in this earthly life, right now. Imagine being able to access any information, any experience that humanity has ever accumulated. You could learn about events from deep antiquity, not from distorted, often biased history books, but directly from the source, feeling the breath of the past. You could understand the true motives of people who lived thousands of years ago, penetrate the depths of their thoughts and feelings. You could witness how human thought evolved, how civilizations slowly but surely changed, being born and fading, leaving their mark. This is not mere learning. This is true transformation. When you touch this boundless wisdom, your own consciousness seems to blossom, filling with new light. You begin to notice the subtle threads of patterns that were previously invisible, like hidden designs on the fabric of existence. The world appears before you as a single entity, where everything is in an amazing interconnection. Every thought, every action you take is not merely a fleeting stroke, but a seed cast into the soil of reality, its fruits blossoming far beyond your immediate existence. Within Cayce's profound teachings lies a remarkable description of what is known as the Golden Key. This key, he explained, possesses the power to unlock the gates to the grand chronicles of creation. However, it is not something tangible, not an object one can hold. It is, above all, a unique state of consciousness, a state of absolute purity, sincere humility, and all-encompassing love. He asserted that when a soul, cleansed from selfish desires and the tenacious shackles of fear, achieves complete readiness, it gains the opportunity to enter these sacred records. But how does one attain this exalted state? He proposed not a swift, momentary deliverance, but rather a gradual, multi-stage process, a process that demands not only endurance, but also unwavering perseverance. He spoke of our role as becoming true conduits, channels for this special, transformative energy. He taught that we should not obstruct it, but rather allow it to flow freely through us, much like water finding its path. His teachings were filled with concrete, almost tangible instructions. He described in detail how to conduct self-alignment sessions, how to formulate one's questions to the universe, and how to patiently await the answer, which would invariably arrive. He placed particular emphasis on the significance of visualizing this internal process. Imagine yourself standing before a radiant portal, before a mysterious door leading to an infinite, all-knowing library of knowledge. And this portal, this passage to another dimension, opens only when you achieve that coveted state of profound inner peace and complete harmony with yourself. Cayce also spoke of the transfer technique, the ability to move our consciousness to the past or future to gain valuable insights. But this, as he stressed, demands deep, comprehensive preparation. This is not mere fun, not a game, but a far more serious, thoughtful endeavor of self-work. He taught us that the chronicles are not simply a soulless repository of facts. Imagine a living, pulsating organism, the very beating heart of the universe, whose consciousness is reflected in every one of our cells. And when we dare to touch this grand organism, we are, in essence, touching our own true nature. Now let us delve deeper into the details that Cayce so carefully left us as his legacy. His meditative practices often involved a profound immersion in visualization of light. Imagine yourself enveloped in a radiant, almost tangible golden light. This light is the quintessence of the Chronicle's energy, penetrating you like a life-giving spring, purifying you to your deepest core and filling you with hidden knowledge. He recommended starting with the simplest, seemingly ordinary questions. Questions touching upon the subtleties of your personal life, echoes of past incarnations, the deep connections within your relationships. As you grow more adept in this process, uncovering new facets of your perception, you will be able to tackle more complex inquiries concerning the mysteries of history, the fundamental laws of science, and the pinnacles of spiritual development. But Cayce relentlessly emphasized, this is not an invitation to passively, contemplatively receive information. On the contrary, he persistently called for the active, practical application of the knowledge gained. He said that the information extracted from the Chronicles is meant to become a tool for healing, a catalyst for growth, and a source of assistance for those around you. He spoke of how to awaken within oneself the mysterious ability to read the Chronicles. This process, as he explained, begins with a fine-tuning, much like we do with a radio receiver. Imagine your consciousness as precisely such a receiver, and you are striving to catch the correct frequency, the frequency of universal knowledge, accessible to everyone. According to Cayce, deep within each person exists what is known as the Akashic channel. This channel, carrying streams of wisdom, can be blocked by numerous obstacles, fears, doubts, oppressive negative beliefs, and our primary task, as he stressed, is to remove these obstacles and unblock it. He didn't propose magical incantations for this, but rather effective affirmations, a kind of formulas intended to gently yet confidently reprogram our subconscious. I am open to receiving wisdom from the Akashic Records, he would affirm, and this phrase sounded like a vow. I am worthy of access to universal knowledge. He particularly emphasized the importance of sincerity of intention. If you dared to approach the records with selfish motives, with the thought of causing harm, then access would be denied. Instead, you would receive only a pale reflection of your own impulses, clouded by dark desires. Cayce, however, described the records not as a mere archive, but as something far greater, a living system, constantly interacting with you. And the moment you posed a question, you didn't simply receive an answer. You initiated an entire process, generating resonance. It was this resonance that drew to you the very information you needed. He also spoke of altered states of consciousness, which, in his opinion, could open the doors to this knowledge. It's important to understand that this wasn't about mere intoxication. Rather, it was a state of profound, almost hypnotic trance, achievable through lengthy meditations, sincere prayer, or focused concentration. Cayce spoke of spheres of influence that, like an invisible aura, surround us on all sides, and he asserted that these spheres could be used as peculiar portals for accessing the Akashic Records. Imagine yourself standing at the very heart of such a sphere, and this sphere, essentially, is the Akashic Records themselves. You can freely enter, explore its boundless expanse, drawing invaluable information from it. Cayce was convinced that the Akashic Records hold not just dry facts, but something far more potent: energy. Energy possessing truly astonishing power. It can heal, inspire, and transform our very essence. And when we touch this life-giving energy, we are, in fact, touching the very core of our divine nature. He spoke of the law of attraction, referencing the Akashic Records. His words were simple, yet profound. What we send out into the world is what returns to us. If fear dominates within us, the universe responds with a stream of information that only fuels that feeling. But if the heart is filled with love and an unceasing desire for knowledge, then wisdom unfolds on the path before us. Now imagine this. You are ready. Your mind is at peace. Your heart cleansed of unnecessary worries. You feel that unseen connection to the world. What happens next? Cayce insisted on visualizing this moment. Imagine you are standing before a gateway, one that leads to new horizons. Before you lies the gate, leading into the very heart of the Chronicles, and then these gates swing open, inviting you inside. Step through, and before your very eyes unfolds a truly breathtaking spectacle. Endless rows of ancient books, beckoning scrolls, and enigmatic crystals. Each item, frozen here in time, holds within it a priceless record, a piece of history, of bygone eras. You may reach out and take any one of them, and the moment your fingers touch the chosen artifact, information will begin to rush into your consciousness. He described this astonishing reading technique, the ability to absorb knowledge not through ordinary sight, but directly with the power of your own mind. When information comes to you directly, flowing in as if images, feelings, a profound understanding. Cayce also spoke of the so-called inner voice, which accompanies this wondrous process. It is important to understand, this voice is not your own. It is the voice of the Chronicles. He is like a guide, gently directing you, helping you comprehend and interpret what you have received. He especially emphasized the importance of disinterest. When you turn to the Chronicles, it is not for personal gain, but in the name of the highest good. This is an immutable truth. Now let us turn to the concept of the great inversion. The first step on this path is the destruction of the mirror. When the external horror reaches its peak, perform a sharp internal reversal. What if all those terrible monsters, bloody wars, global crises, devastating pandemics, are merely shadows dancing on the wall of a cave, deceptive mirages? What if the true tyrant, the one holding you captive, looks directly at you from your own mirror? You mistakenly believed that the saving key lay outside, accessible through a bottomless ocean of information. But remember this: true knowledge, genuine power, has always resided within you. The Akashic Records are not some external, dusty library. They are a living reflection of your own consciousness, deep and boundless. This is a precious part of your own, unique soul. The next stage, the sacred dissolution. Declare this long-awaited collapse as something akin to cosmic surgery, necessary for healing. The universe does not punish humanity. No. It simply burns away the poison within it. The poison of fear, ignorance, and mindless materialism. For a long time, you believed that some external forces were trying to control your lives. But true control, believe me, lies within yourselves. This is self-limitation. It is a fragile crown of glass that you, of your own free will, have placed upon your heads, fearing pain and the unknown. These are the very veins of metal of the system, which you have voluntarily allowed to be woven into the very essence of your being, thoughtlessly accepting its rules of the game. Now let us move to the third step, the Phoenix's uprising. It is necessary to reveal the main, innermost secret. Prophecies are not predictions of a coming savior arriving from outside. No, they are a genuine activation code for awakening the savior who already resides within each of you, the viewer. The prophets did not see a single chosen one. They saw an awakened army of souls. It was a spectacle that made the heart stand still. They saw you, and now it is clear that you are not merely a part of an ancient prophecy. You are its fulfillment, its very embodiment. The key to understanding the Chronicles, to grasping their essence, lies not in knowledge, but in being. In this special state of purity, encompassing love and unbroken unity. When you reach this highest state, you cease to read the Chronicles. You become them. You transform into a living, pulsating reflection of boundless, universal wisdom. Cayce taught that each of us is a unique crystal, holding within echoes of the entire boundless universe. And the true task, according to him, lies in cleansing this crystal, making it flawlessly transparent, so that it may reflect all pure, uncorrupted truth. Now that your eyes are open, now that you have truly seen, inaction becomes impossible. Your like is like a sudden flash of light, instantly illuminating the entire vast network. Your share is a tiny seed, carefully planted amidst the arid desert of minds still dormant and unawakened. And your subscribe is, in essence, a solemn oath. If you feel ready to go further, towards even greater accomplishments, our inner circle will become your reliable operational base, a true headquarters. And your support, expressed through super thanks, is the very lifeblood that fuels our shared, unquenchable flame in this ceaseless battle against the encroaching darkness. Until our next encounter, remain